Продовжуємо.
We continue our working day at Ukraine Crisis Media Center. Now the floor is given to Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesperson on ATO-related issues. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Today's briefing, we start with an important information from the ATO headquarters. According to the headquarters information, on the 19th of December, due to the announcement made by the Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation about the intent to recall Russian officers from JCCC on ceasefire and coordination of the demarcation line, the enemy may carry out aggressive actions along the line of confrontation and in the ATO zone, and the enemy plans to intensify the work of subversive groups on the facilities of energy and transport infrastructure, and increase the number of provocative shellings in the direction of our positions and the settlements that are in the zone and at the line of confrontation. Moreover, in order to accuse armed forces of Ukraine in violation of the Minsk agreements, the militants will more often shell their own positions with barrel artillery of big caliber, rocket systems, tanks, and all available weapons. The ATO headquarters say that this data shows that this will create negative attitude and even aggression towards our defenders, Ukrainian servicemen. And on the 17th of December, Russian occupation forces cynically used weapons that are prohibited by the Minsk agreements. These are mortars, heavy artillery of 152mm of caliber. Now information in more detail. The Lugansk sector, the enemy delivered 6 precision shellings in the direction of our positions, and all the shellings happened at night or during dark hours. And also the enemy was active near Lugansk. Here the enemy shelled with the use of 152mm artillery, and also there were 40 bursts of mortar shells of 120mm of caliber, and also the 20 of mortars of 82mm of caliber. Also the enemy used anti-aircraft Zu-23-2 and grenade launchers and machine guns. Also enemy shellings, enemy mortar shellings happened near Lugansk, Lozovel, Zaitsevo, and Travneva, and the enemy launched in the direction of our forces in the region of Lozovel more than 20 mines and 16 mines of 120mm mortar shells in the region of Travneva. And this time Ukrainian forces didn't return fire. The Donetsk sector, Russian occupation forces delivered 8 precision shellings at the position of armed forces of Ukraine, and near Lebedinsk the enemy delivered 3 shellings, mortar shellings of 120 and 82mm of caliber, launching 20 mines. Also the enemy actively used grenade launchers, machine guns, and infantry, small arms. The enemy used 120mm caliber near Pavlopil, and the enemy used weaponry of IFVs near Gnutova. And also the enemy delivered fire with the use of grenade launchers of different systems, machine guns, small arms, and at our positions near Avdiivka, Butivka mine, and Kamenka. And this time, in nearly all instances, Ukrainian defenders returned fire with the use of weapons that are not prohibited by the Minsk agreements. These are mortars and service small arms. And also during the last 24 hours, Russian occupation forces delivered 14 precision shellings in the direction of the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine along the front line. And the enemy launched 140 mines of 120 and 82mm of caliber. 7 times our servicemen returned precision fire with the use of weapons that are not prohibited by the Minsk agreements. And unfortunately, yesterday at about 11 p.m., in shelling delivered by Russian terrorist forces, with the use of mortars of 120 millimeter of caliber near Zaitsevo. 3 servicemen were killed. Commander of the Ministry of Defense, General Staff, servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and battle comrades expressed their condolences to the families and relatives of the defenders of Ukraine. In the center of demining at the main Department of Operative Support of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in Kamenets-Podilsk, they completed the course of training for operators of deactivation of handmade explosive devices. 10 servicemen got certificates. They were trained by Canadian colleagues and experienced servicemen of the demining sector, and the training was carried out according to NATO standards. And this is the fourth course of training delivered by Canadian instructors for servicemen of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the framework of multinational training group Ukraine. Do you have questions? No questions. Thank you and goodbye.